Thank you. Thank you very much, Mrs. Aaron. Let me say pleasant good morning to every single person who's tuned into this press briefing via all the radio stations and to everyone who's obviously viewing on the internet. Let me recognize the PS in the Ministry of Tourism, Miss Karen Prevost, my good friend from the DDA, Mr. Colin Piper, for Diana, my colleague who's here from Flow, obviously supporting. And as I mentioned, the media cannot help but recognize Mr. Julian Morris. And you will understand why it's difficult for me to miss him here this morning. We're wearing the same shirt. So thank you very much for being here. Just by way of context, when we woke up on September 19th and assessed the devastation and the impact from Hurricane Maria, from our network perspective, particularly as it related to a mobile line of business, we found that all our 49 cell sites were off air. So we had 49 cell sites totally off air as a direct result of the impact from Hurricane Maria. When we did some further assessment, we found not that just 49 sites were off air, we also determined that about 10% of our mobile infrastructure was totally devastated and destroyed. Meaning 10% of that mobile infrastructure was blown away by Hurricane Maria. As we speak today, say just about 2 months below, or just below 2 months since the most devastating, I think, event to our country, I can report that we have now restored 33 out of the 49 cell sites. In any language you put it, I think just below 2 months, considering the unprecedented level of impact our country as a whole suffered, I think 33 sites out of 49, in my view, is nothing short of phenomenal. 67%, and that accounts to about 67% of our total mobile sites. We have restored services in the Roseau area, Roseau and environs. We have mobile service in Marigot, in Portsmouth, and in the Scott Z area. And as I mentioned, Scott Z, obviously, the residents in Scott Z would have been thrilled to wake up about 2 mornings ago when they noticed that their mobile service again was restored and they had access to mobile telephony services. Mobile service now covers about 85% of our population. Again, as I said, mere just under 2 months since Hurricane Maria, as I speak to you today, we can report that we have about 85% of the population covered through mobile services. So 85% of our people here can make and receive a mobile call and can have communication via data services. As I said, this is nothing short, I think, from remarkable. I've always made the point that the level of devastation that we suffered as a country as a result of Hurricane Maria is unprecedented. I do not know that in our lifetime, at least those of us within my age group, can recount on any other event that would have had that level of impact to every section of our society. And I think all of us as Dominicans need to be proud in terms of the level of restoration and recovery we've achieved so far. And as I speak specifically to Flow, I think to have 85% of the population being able to access mobile connectivity is remarkable. We are continuing to work, and we expect to have 4 additional sites completed by November 30th. And this will include areas in the south and southeastern part of the country. Specifically, we're working to complete our restoration work in Grand Bay and the Bellevue-Chopin and Pichelet areas by this week. Maybe by the middle of this week, we expect to have these areas restored. And just for emphasis, we are seriously working to have mobile connectivity restored to the Grand Bay area, to Pichelet, Bellevue-Chopin by the middle of this week. And I think this is something that will be of a significant impact to the residents in these areas. In terms of our fixed infrastructure or fixed telephony, as you know, we are a full service provider, so we provide mobile services, but we also provide fixed services as well. Based on the assessment that we did, we had about 75% of our copper infrastructure devastated and damaged as a result of Hurricane Maria. We are continuing our line plan surveys, and we are continuing restoration work in several areas of the country. To date, we have a total of about 80% of our major business customers restored with service. And the pace of success is closely linked to the state of readiness, at these respective institutions. So we are working particularly in the Roseau and Portsmouth areas to restore telephone connectivity or overall connectivity to every single business place that is ready for us to do so. And again, this is something that we are committed to and we will continue to do. With respect to government, we have about 70% of government services restored. And again, the rate of success, as I said earlier, will be totally dependent on the state of readiness at the various sites. In terms of government core services, I know we are closer to success as it relates to the satellite sites. There are several institutions or government hubs in sections of the country that they are not yet fully ready for restoration of services. Our major telephone switch is functional and is supporting international calling services both in and out of Dominica. In terms of our commercial support, what I would like to say though, while we went ahead very quickly to work on the restoration of services from a physical infrastructure standpoint, we also felt that we had an obligation to support our customers who've stood by us over the years, and we needed to offer some sort of concession via our services to these customers. And so from the first couple of days post the hurricane, we prepared our business to serve our customers, and we provide top-up services. We provided services to customers who wanted to just simply charge their phones, and we've been doing that. What we've done as well, we have provided a bonus credit amount to customers who top up $10. So any customer who tops up $10 in terms of credit to their phones, we offer a 100% bonus to these customers as well. And this is something that we continue to do. And as I said, we will do it because we recognize that our customers in this time of hardship, they need us to step forward and lend some level of support. And this is something that we continue to do. We will continue to lend our support to our customers as the time evolves. I know our postpaid customers always complain that there seems to be a heavier focus on prepaid customers, but this is something that we certainly would like to rebalance, if you will, and we are certainly offering support to our postpaid customer base as well. And so all postpaid customers will receive 1 month free service, or received, sorry, 1 month free service in the month of September. This is something that we did to all our postpaid customers as well. And with respect to fixed line and data customers, we continue to assess on a customer by customer basis, and where we have customers who have not had the benefit of their service during an extended period, we obviously will offer rebates to these customers, and this is something we continue to do and will continue to do on a day-by-day basis. We also felt we had a big obligation as well in terms of humanitarian support. We've been part of the Caribbean region for over 140 years. We've been part of these communities, and when the community is hurting, obviously we feel the pain and we wanted to lend our support. So on September 20th, our parent company, Cable and Wireless Communication, established the Cable and Wireless Communications Charitable Foundation. And the Charitable Foundation was established with the core purpose to lend support to not just Dominica, but all the islands across the Caribbean that would have been impacted by hurricane. And so they say skin in the game is important, and so as an organization, we committed $500,000 as seed funding to start the Charitable Foundation. And as I speak to you now, today we have raised near $1 million US to the Charitable Foundation. The intent is we have signed partnerships with 2 organizations across the region, Shelterbox and the Rotary Club, and again, these 2 institutions will assist us in implementing and supporting projects across the various islands. With respect to Dominica, we've started some conversation in terms of what is a suitable project we will want to undertake within Dominica. Again, in the whole process of recovery and rebuilding better. And I'm not going to divulge too much specific detail around that now, but except to say that we are working and discussing a project for Dominica. I think once that is bedded down, it will be of significant impact, and the population, by and large, would be happy to get the details around that. So this is something we're working on, and in the next couple of days, we should be able to speak a bit more directly on that as well. Again, as I said, in terms of skin in the game, our senior executives at CWC committed 10% of their salaries in October towards the foundation as well. So every senior leader within Cable and Wireless Communication freely volunteered 10% of their personal earnings towards funding the charitable foundation. So just to kind of give a summary, so we're saying so far we have 33 cell sites fully restored, 33 out of our 49, and which accounts to 67% of our total fixed, not fixed, but mobile infrastructure. We have 85% of our population connected via mobile telephony. And I think, as I said, given the level of devastation as a country and as a company, to have 85% of the population fully connected, at least via mobile, I think is a significant achievement. Just to say, as an organization, our sleeves are rolled up. We went out to work from the first day post Hurricane Maria, and our staff, our technicians, they have not stopped since. And this is something we will continue to do. Our view is, I've always made the point that at times of challenge, one of two things can evolve. You can be submerged as victims, meaning that you've been battered, you've been bruised, and you crawl under the desk and hope that the Superman and the superheroes will come to bail you out. Or it can inspire you to get into the gut and build this survivor spirit, which is what I've seen evolve in Dominica, not just within Cable and Wireless and Flow, but I think that overall spirit, that fighting spirit, that spirit of resilience, that spirit of fighting off and clearing the rubble and rebuilding better is something that I have seen emerge within the population of Dominica, and I really want to urge our people to continue. Again, our organization is a reflection of what happens within the society, and I think I see that same fire. I see that same conviction to build, and not just build, but build back better within our organization. And so, just to reiterate the points that I've made before, that our view is, when the dust is cleared, we will deliver to the population a telecommunications infrastructure that is superior to where we were prior to Hurricane Maria. We're investing a significant amount of resources into building a better network. We've prided ourselves on having a very robust and resilient telecommunications infrastructure in Dominica, but we feel that Maria has presented a new opportunity for new assessment. And I think out of that assessment, we have certainly accepted some lessons that would have been left behind by Hurricane Maria, and we are committed to use these lessons to take us to a better place. And so we will have a more superior network once we have completed our work to get the country back to 100% restoration from a telecommunications standpoint. I know quite a bit of persons may be thinking, and just to preempt Julian before he asks me the question, with respect to cable television, what's happening there. So let me also say, though, that once we emerged from the devastation of Hurricane Maria on September 19th, we found that a significant portion of the mapping network was destroyed and severely impacted. So all the fixed infrastructure, the poles, would have been devastated. From a fixed infrastructure standpoint, the mapping building at Mount Daniel was severely damaged. The studio is totally destroyed. And so we too have to remobilize and to re-strategize, if you will, in terms of how we will deliver our TV product. The good news is, once we had completed the acquisition, and I say we, Cable and Wireless Dominica CWC, once we completed the acquisition of Mapping Telecoms in May 2017, we did in fact pronounce that the intent was to build a more superior and more first world, if you will, cable TV product for the Dominica market, and that was the intent. We were well on our way in terms of building out that plan, but obviously Hurricane Maria reshuffled everyone's deck of cards, including our company as well. So the point is, just to kind of lay the expectation at the right place, once we relaunch cable television in Dominica, it's going to be a new product. So we will not attempt to repair the mapping infrastructure as it existed prior to Hurricane Maria. We feel it makes very little sense to do that based on the core objective we had to redevelop and to remediate that network. And so we're putting all our resources and our planning into building out the new television product and this is what we are working towards delivering. In terms of timeline, we expect by the end of November we'll have a core TV product that will be ready for distribution. So the core will be in place by the end of November. Again, the distribution and the rate of distribution will be dependent on several variables in terms of power restoration across the island, the physical infrastructure in terms of how we deliver the core TV product to the various distribution points. That will be set in motion. But just in terms of milestone, I can publicly state now that the intent, and we're working towards that objective, is by the end of November, we'll have a core TV product that will be ready for distribution in Dominica, and that's what we're working towards. And so that's it from us. What we do on a daily basis, though, we have our daily radio briefing, which we do at 11:30 every day as well. So we feel we have an obligation to also keep the population informed in terms of what we're doing, because so many people are dependent on telecommunication services to not just for their personal undertakings, but from a commercial standpoint as well. So we do that, and we'll continue to do just that. And we're always available to the media if there is anything specific that the media would want from us. Just to say, from a company perspective, we pledge our continued support to the people and the country. We will continue to invest a significant portion of our resources into building our communities and our people. And just to answer, call in brief with respect to Carnival as well. And that just to say, though, that Maria did quite a bit and it changed quite a lot, but it certainly has not shifted our conviction in terms of our commitment towards the promotion and preservation of our cultural heritage. That commitment has remained unmoved. And as it relates to Carnival, we expect, in whatever form or shape it takes, that Flow as a company and as a committed partner will be standing right next to you, the DDA and the Ministry of Tourism, in the delivery of that product. That commitment I can give to you from this point. Thank you very much.